So let me take this. Let me start from the Podio. Let me start from the Podio and kind of click and drag from that point. So I'm gonna open it up, take it here. All right, take it to the corner or whatever. There we go. Okay. Yep, I'm recording. So if I take we got this fire station property today,
Uh-huh.
what I want is immediately to put this address into
Mm-hmm.
here, and
Okay.
then yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Perfect. And let's say the seller,
Mm-hmm.
um, they wanted well, actually the seller don't matter. I'm sorry. So what matters is if I said like, hey, the buyer's gonna pay $50,000 for this property. So you put, 50 comma 00 dot
Mm-hmm.
00. It has to be pretty precise. And then set the closing 2 weeks out. So let's say in 2 weeks on a Thursday, it'd be the 18th. So you would
Mm-hmm.
put 3/18/2021
Mm-hmm.
or just 21. And you would lead this most likely because we want the buyer to pay the closing costs, the
Mm-hmm.
attorney's fees. It's really not much. It's like $500.
That is
Um,
the last part of the in the drop button. Last part.
yeah, this is the last one for sure. I
Okay.
could put at the top, but it's usually by default right here already.
Okay.
So if I'm also like, okay, hey, they're paying the closing costs. That's in yellow. And then the next thing is the earnest money. So what happens is, the buyer, we want the buyer to be sure they're committed, they're ready to
Mm-hmm.
go, and they have to make sure they keep their position. Because if I have two other people ready to go on this property, I need their money to be
Mm-hmm.
put into the escrow, meaning they need to get this money to the attorney. So
Yeah.
I tell you, hey, they want to do $1,000, so I put 1,000, and they would turn it into, let's say I mentioned, okay, they want to turn it into Copper Line Legal. That's the attorney.
Uh-huh.
Um, this part right here, I probably had to take out because it's probably not gonna. This is specifically one buyer asked me to. And then I said, hey, they get 7 days due diligence. They can go out to the property.
Mm-hmm.
They can inspect the property, send a plumber. They can send a termite inspector. Anything you could think. Hell, okay, I need to check all the problems for the house. So that I give them time, 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Today's date. What's today's date?
Third. Fourth.
Okay, the fourth. Perfect. So I got the fourth. I might actually put it along to the next day because sometimes they don't sign. Um, actually, you know what? The day of. So I'll leave that as is. This part you kind of leave blank. And what I
Uh-huh.
could do is make this really easy to read. So I go right here to F. This should go. There we go. Shift and then F with as in frog, and then go to this field and put buyer part. So then this kind of clarifies who is where you're supposed to fill in. And this one, I'll copy this. Control C, Control V. Oh, wrong place. This is in the way. I can't move it. Okay, and today's date again, 3/4/21. And this is obviously for the buyer too. So I put the buyer. And this is the buyer as well. Then this is the buyer as well. Buyer. And the closing date can be the buyer sometimes. If I tell leave a blank, then that means the buyer wants to choose it. But so far pretty easy. You get the address, and the second thing about this address is it needs to go on the second page because we try to protect ourselves in this little addendum. Say we need to be a part of this transaction because we've had attorneys say, you're just assigning the property, you know, it's only the buyer and the seller now. You just wait till you get your check. And so we started doing this, but that's a quick explanation, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, everything's pre-signed with Philip already. And that was pretty short and it's pretty easy to the point. Now, the other thing is when I'm going to send this out, go to the thing right here, go to actions, and then, no, I'm sorry, send, and then you go to sign request.
Sign request, okay.
Boom. And this is just pretend, but if I was going to send it to myself, I'm the seller, or I'm the buyer, I'm going to first thing manage the fields because I need to assign every field to this buyer. And if I can move this thing, I can't. I'm just going to refresh it because I can't move that bull crap. So sign requests. Okay, just making sure it was there. All right, so if I do this by assigning, sometimes they want to choose the buyer, so I had to assign it to them. This is, let's say, the buyer's email. So I'm making sure their email is attached to where I want them to be. So I give this to the buyer. This signing is to the buyer. The date is for the buyer. You could leave this kind of blank. I could probably take it out altogether. Assignee, this is for the buyer. And then buyer, this is for the buyer. Okay, so I just clicked, all I gotta do is click the email. And the way I got here again was, I'll just kind of start over, but I went to this, Shift F as in frog. And then, you know, once you put something here, it'll automatically pull up this little screen. And then if I already have an email, wrong place. If I already have an email here, then it'll be right here, ready to go. So I just assign whatever I want this person to do. So on their screen, they're only going to see it. They're only going to be able to put everything that's in green. They're not going to be able to do anything else. So that's just the basic of that. And the way I want you to practice this is I want to have you actually pull up let's say you go back to the dashboard. I want you to try to go ahead and push a new document and then open the Google Drive. And then where we are, deals, then we go to deals. And then we go to the closed folder. So I may need to sort this out. It's ABC order. I'm obsessed with that. So I would go to dropped properties. And I want to pretend like, hey, you're making an assignment, even though these properties are just for fun. And I want you to create an assignment. I'm going to get you some rules on that, but basically you just kind of open one up. Let's say you start with the first academy, let's say. They should have a 1V. So it should have always like a number 1V original. This happens to be academy. So even if it's just 1X or 1V, 1X means it's just execute. 1V means it's just not been signed by the seller, but who cares? This is for fun. So I want you to upload it and take a look at all this stuff. All right. And then go back and make sure you download this in assignment because it'll be like a draft or whatnot. And I can put this in a Google Drive. So I can export to Google Drive, show in Drive. Wrong place. Okay. Okay, so it'll be at the bottom. But what I want you to try to do is definitely pull up like a dropped property and then merge right here on the top left. go to this button, and then you go down to the bottom, merge, and you merge a file. And then you go to Google Drive. I know you got to watch this again, so I'm not worried about it. So just you're going to practice, you know. And then open up Deals. And then open up the assignment. It'll go to the bottom of this. So it's pretty easy, you know. You go to here, Shift P, and then merge it, and then go to Google Drive and find the assignment in the Deals folder. What I want you to try to do, this is the idea. So once you watch this video again, you'll see, okay, I take $11,000, I add, let's say, $10,000 on top, so that'd be 21.5. 21.5, and I'll put the closing day, let's say, it's 210 here, so maybe 2 weeks from now is like, maybe the 25th, so 225. This is all made up just for practice. 25, 21 for a closing date. And then let's say Copperline Legal. Boom. And then today's date, of course, is already going to be there, I'm sure. And then the address. So you got to definitely change the address. So 701 Academy, you should be able to copy it. So I take this. Sometimes I just type it out. 703. Okay, 703 Academy Street East. Academy Street East, Wilson, NC 27893. Copied it. Control C. And then Control V. And then paste it again. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. I don't want to get too long, but